Deep breathing is one of the simplest ways to reduce anxiety and stress in our body. When we start to get anxious or stressed, our body tenses up and our natural breathing pattern gets hijacked. So this high breathing in our chest, this shallow breathing, increases the amount of carbon dioxide in our body. And that in turn increases the stress that we feel in our body because we're not getting enough oxygen, and then that anxiety stress response only gets worse. So by coming in during those hard moments where we're breathing really shallow and our brain feels really overwhelmed, bringing in a deep breath is going to allow our brain and our body to respond more effectively and feel better throughout that natural stress response. Now, when you're stressed and anxious, breathing is not at the top of your priority list because there's all these other things that are distracting you. But if we can practice it when we're not in those modes of like high intense stress, then we're more prepared to use it as a coping skill in those times of need. The technique of deep breathing isn't just a few breaths and you're done. It doesn't work like that. It's actually the process over a few minutes of refocusing, recentering, that whole mindfulness thing that we've talked about the last couple weeks, and bringing in those breaths to the body, recenters, refocuses, so that you can then re-enter into whatever stressful situation you're in. So it's just a few minutes of concentrated, focused breathing. We're giving our body a fighting chance against stress. And like everything else we've been doing, it takes a little bit of practice. So today we're gonna start small. This is a really great coping skill for kids too, because it's a great visual and you can use visual aids to help explain to them what you're doing. You can use really anything you have on hand, but my two favorites are when you inhale like you're smelling a flower and exhale like you're blowing bubbles. So if you're smelling flowers, you inhale slowly because you want to savor that smell. So we go, and then we exhale like we're blowing bubbles. Another great visual is like you're blowing up a balloon. So that's what I was kind of doing with my hand right there. But when you exhale, you're blowing through to blow through the balloon. So you can see how that visual aid really helps kids see that they have to do slow, deep breaths to really get the effect of inhaling and exhaling. Another great way to describe it for kids is inhaling through your toes, all the way up your legs, all the way up through your belly to the top of your head. Hold it. And then exhale down through your chest, through your belly, through your legs, down through your toes. So it's that slow up and slow down. And you can do this with shapes. So we shape like a square, we trace out a square. And we go inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You do that with a star, you can do it with a circle, anything that works. For adults, those visuals can be really helpful and a good reminder as well, but I like to do counting. So we count for an inhale of 5, hold for 5, and then exhale for a count of 5. So here, practice it with me. We're gonna inhale, hold, and exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Now that was just 2 rounds. So we would do 5 rounds and then another 5 rounds. And now you probably noticed my shoulders were tensing up there, and so I purposely tried to relax my shoulders because I don't want my body increasing that tension as I'm breathing. I want it to really just focus on the breaths. This can be really good to exercise, do if you lay down flat on the ground, or if you're just sitting in a chair, you want to sit back so that you're not bringing more tension into other areas of your body when you want to just focus on the breath. Now, one thing to remember when you're teaching kids this, as well as yourself, is that again, we don't want the chest breathing. We want to feel our diaphragm, which is right below our rib cage. We want to feel our stomach expanding out. So when we inhale, our bellies push out, and when we exhale, our bellies push in towards our spine. So practice that in your deep breathing exercises. Inhale out, exhale in. That kind of makes sense with the belly. So those are just a few tips to get you started with deep breathing. Let me know which ones you like the best and if these work for you and your kids. I hope that you can find some relief for some of those anxious, intense moments. Join me next week on This Full Life with Kelly, where we'll talk about deep relaxation methods. Those are some of my favorites. See you next week.